Hi, welcome to Wings for Life. My name is Ann Edenfield Sweet. I'm the executive director and the founder of Wings. And we have a really special guest with us today. Ernesto has been coming in, and I got to know him because he was doing community service. And come to find out, he has been a member of a gang for over 30 years, the Sereno Gang. We're going to learn about gang life, and we're going to learn about what he wished he had known back then, the difficulties of being in a gang. He now is turning his life around, and for those of you that are gang members that are listening, there is hope if you do want out of the gang, and we're going to learn about that today. So first of all, Ernesto, tell us about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Southern California.
Louder.
I grew up in Southern California, gang-infested neighborhood. I have family members that are in gangs. I got in it when I was young, about 13 years old, and I got used to the fast lifestyle, the fast money, and it's pretty much it. You know, it's been a revolving door since I've been a juvenile. I have about over 20 years incarceration. Just recently got out of the federal system. It's, like I said, it's been a revolving door. I have 3 wonderful kids, some grandkids. My parents have been married like 52 years. Come from a very good family. I don't know what else you're going to
Okay, so let's go back.
Yeah.
If you were looking at your 12-year-old self today, what would you be telling yourself? Because there was something, talk about your home life, because I think you've mentioned at one point that your dad was working a lot and you weren't paying attention to mom.
Yeah.
So talk about that, and then if you were 12 today, or talking to somebody that's 12 and thinking about gang life, bring us up to speed about that.
So, my dad worked quite a bit. He worked in the oil field. I had a lot of free time. Hung around a lot of my homies, and naturally got into trouble. You know, growing up in Southern California, it's a lot faster paced than it is in New Mexico. Naturally, especially in the 80s and 90s, it's when the whole gang banging was taking off. I got caught up in doing basically gang banging, and thought it was a thing to do. Everybody else was doing it. We were just doing drugs and living fast, you know.
So your dad wasn't home a lot. He'd be gone for like a week at a time.
Yeah, he'd work rotating
So, and
shifts.
of course, we're not blaming your dad, because your brother and sister avoided this lifestyle. But sometimes it helps. And had you listened to your mom, because of course she, I don't think, liked the lifestyle that you were choosing.
Yeah, she didn't. My mom and I, we bumped heads. But ultimately, I mean, I got to take responsibility for my own actions.
Absolutely, you do. Yeah.
And but if I was talking to my 12, 13-year-old self now, I think I would tell myself to stay in school, get an education. It may take longer to ascertain what we want quick. What we want quick, nice car, all the nice clothes, you know, new Jordans, you know, everything that all these kids want right now. I think I would have just took it slower, pumped my brakes, and just stayed in school. Like my son, through all the adversities that he's been through, with me and his mom both going in and out of prison, he graduated with honors. He chose something different. And I sat back and I asked him, what made you want to change? And he's like, Dad, I learned from your guys' mistakes. I learned from my uncles being in prison. I have what I call my little brother. Well, he's like a little brother to me. He's doing life in prison right now in Pelican Bay, and he'll never see the light of day. But and my son, that's what he's seen. That's what he grew up with, you know. And I, me being in and out of prison, I've talked to him. I stay in communications with my kids, you know, and I just I try to be in their life as much as possible, listen to them more, not be judgmental at all, you know. I don't care what it is they could tell me, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'll love them. Maybe if that's what I grew up in the 80s, 90s, baby, you know, where our parents didn't have a problem hitting us, you know, and asking questions later. But and I'm not saying anything's wrong. My parents are wonderful, but you know, nowadays our kids, we listen to them more. You know, we
Well, some people do, but there are kids that are joining the gangs today.
yeah.
And so, what has enabled you to have this positive attitude? Because I know you've got the support of your family, and they have not written you off. A lot of families write somebody off. Gang member, hey, get out of our life. We don't want you around. So how has your family supported you through these 20, 30 years of gangs, incarceration, 20 years behind bars? How have they been that support to you? Because I know that that's what's helping you today.
Naturally, they don't like it, of course. You know what I mean? They don't like that I've been back and forth to prison or back and forth to jail or violation, but they continue loving me. They continue loving me and just telling me, you know, especially my sister. She's like, you know, Ernie, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. And I've done this presentations like this a few times with my brother in Alaska, and they went wonderful. We reached out and we touched a few people, you know, and getting to you, Ann, and the people you work with this in the office. I mean, may have been this last 2 weeks. I had a great time, you know what I mean? Really, I did. I mean, 40 hours went quick, you know what I mean? And I had a really good time. And then today was wonderful. I could see myself coming back and helping you guys anytime.
I would love that.
I have
Yeah.
available, you know, and
But for somebody that's sitting out there today, a 12-year-old, okay, so stay in school.
Stay in school.
Don't go for the fast money,
No.
because what does fast money ultimately mean?
Fast
What
money.
are the two choices that I'll see what you say, because I have my two choices. What are your two choices that if somebody's after the fast money, there are two ultimate things that are going to happen?
You're gonna get locked up, and that fast money, it goes just as
Just
yeah, just as fast as you get it.
Well, I say you're probably going to be either incarcerated or you're going to be killed.
Exactly.
Is that an exactly?
Yes.
Okay, so that fast money that everybody thinks that they're going to get, and boy, the money, the ladies, the drugs,
cars.
all of it. Say it again so people can hear this.
The cars, the money, the women, the drugs, it's not worth it. I mean, you're gonna get incarcerated or you're gonna end up dead. In one summer, I buried over 5 or 6 of my homies in one summer out in
Wow.
California. And that's not uncommon, you know?
I'd like you to talk about prison life, because we hear about, you know, you're going into prison and then the gangs, and you got to join the gangs. So what advice do you have for somebody, for a family member, and their loved one is going into prison and they're scared to death that they're going to be in have to join the gang? What advice do you have about that?
Well, there's always ultimately you have a choice. You know what I mean? You're not going to be extorted. You're not going to be pressured into this and that. I mean, yes, there's going to be this. It's very racially diverse. You know, if you're a white guy, you're going with the white guys. If you're a Mexican, you're going to go with the Mexican. And then you got the paisas, which is from Mexico, the blacks, and so on. You know, but you don't have to click up. You don't have to. And what I mean clicking up, I meaning like you don't have to join a gang. You don't. It's ultimately that's your choice, and whoever does that is your choice. You're not getting. You don't get pressured. Like
Because we always hear about the pressure to join a gang in a
no,
prison.
you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's not like that at all. I mean, some things are, if you owe money, yes, you're going to get pressure to pay it. You know what I mean? A lot of guys do call up and saying that, oh, I'm getting, I need some money for this or that, and it's normally for over drugs or drug debts. We don't. I've been in a gang. I've been in a prison gang for long years, a long time, and many years. I mean, and but we don't push anybody to do anything that they don't want. It's not like that. I would suggest this: if you have somebody going in and they're a square, we call squares like just a regular Joe Blow or Joe, you know what I mean? Just somebody coming in, go Christian, go solo, go independent. You know what I mean? Because if you click up, it's gonna come down the line when your ticket gets pulled, and you're gonna have to put in some kind of work.
Okay, talk about tickets and work here now. And I like that, go Christian. We'll go there in a second. But talk about tickets and work. What do you mean by that?
So basically, it's going to be your time. Hey, there's going to be a time where if something has to be done, whether it's beating up somebody or it depends what level or what kind of institution you're in, you might have to stab somebody. And if you don't take care of it, ultimately it's just the same thing's going to happen to you. That you were supposed to take care of.
So boy, if I'm going into prison, I'm staying out of the gang. I'm going to go solo. Actually, I'm going to go Christian. So talk about that, because I find that so interesting in the way you say that, go Christian. So talk about that.
So we respect the fact that if they're going Christian or they're like they're Catholic or something, and there's no problem with it. You do you. That's how it is. You do you. You go on. You know what I mean. Read the Bible. Go to church. That's what you. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But there is underlying.
What's the but? Yeah, let's talk about that but.
Yeah,
okay.
there is. So if you start backsliding, say you're running Christian, and sometimes people hide under that category or in that car because they don't want to get involved in this or that, any kind of politics, and so they'll go Christian for a minute, but the minute they backslide, they start getting high, and believe me, there's eyes everywhere. There's eyes everywhere. So I mean, this dude, say some guy's going Christian 1 minute, next week he's getting high, believe it, people are going to be like, well, we thought you were Christian,
So you got to be genuine.
Yeah, pretty much. You got to, if that's what you're going to walk, you better walk the walk. Because, I mean, there's eyes everywhere. People are going to notice that, and they're going to be like, they're going to, again, pull your card. And they're going to be like, I thought you're going Christian all of a sudden,
So what struggles have you had? Talk about struggles in prison and now that you're out, and how are you getting out of the gang? How do you get out of the gang and not get yourself in trouble and not have people come after you and I don't know, you hear about people getting shot and killed all the time because they're not going back to the gang. So how do you do that?
Normally, if they're getting shot or killed, it's over more than just getting out of the gang. I guarantee that. It's more than that. It could be over a drug debt, over somebody you owe money or something. But you don't get just shot for killing, for getting out of a gang or getting killed for that. I distance myself. I start hanging around different people. I start hanging around I have friends that they encourage me to do good. They want me to do good. You know, they and they're still gang affiliated. And they're like, hey Ernesto, I'm glad that you're doing good. Hey, encourage it more than anything. Uh, it's not like I'm a sureño, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those other guys that's higher than I am, and when they my homies, they encourage me to do better,
They do.
They do. And I had never, like I said, I pulled back. It's not like I've gotten jumped out of the gang or I'm denouncing the gang. I have never done that, but I'm pulling back from it, and I'm taking care of my responsibilities as a man, as a father, as a grandfather. That's what I'm doing.
Good for you.
And that's just it, And people, if they're your friends, they're gonna respect that.
So even though they're gang members,
Exactly.
they will respect the choice that you're making,
Of course.
to go to your family, to be that best dad, the best son, the best grandfather,
Of course.
best brother that you could be.
And I could still go back and barbecue with them later, and
But
not
not
have a
do
problem.
any of the gang
Of
stuff.
course,
Yeah.
of course. You know what I mean? I could go back and I could barbecue with them later. It's not like I'm going to get jumped or I'm going to get shot, It's not like that at all.
Well, and that's good to know,
yeah, and
because on the outside, that's kind of what we hear. Because
of
I'm not
course.
on the inside, I don't know those
Yeah,
things.
a lot of people have that misconception. It's not like that at all. I just talked to a good friend of mine last night. He's a sindicato from out here, and we were talking about the same topic right now. And he was telling me, if anything, we encourage the younger homies to do better. We encourage them to distance themselves. We need better dudes out here on the streets to teach these youngsters the right way, because there's no respect out here. The younger generation now, they have no respect. They have no integrity, no morals, nothing at all. They take whatever they want, and they think that they are entitled to it, or they'll rob girls, they'll rob other people for this new drug that's been hitting the streets, This fentanyl and stuff, killing people.
Boy, it's interesting to hear a gang member talk about trying to teach morals and things that are right. And you know that that's what we're trying to do at Wings. And so I appreciate that you're here. I know you've got some pictures and some slides, so why don't you show some of the slides? Go ahead and show some of the slides to explain when we're looking at tattoos, what we're looking at.
Well, this was me when I was in. This is when I was in federal prison in 2000. I want to say 10. I was just getting out of prison. I was in USP Victorville. Good friend of mine drew this picture. It says Pomona on it. So the first slide I'm going to show you, it's recognizing the different tattoos for Albuquerque, New Mexico. The downtown buildings, the Spaniard with the skull and the lobo are being represented as Purqueños. These symbolizations now are getting recognized as prison gangs in the federal system. They, matter of fact, there's talk that they're supposedly going to be putting a big RICO indictment on a bunch of guys, like they did with us Sureños. They gave us gang injunctions. Here's a couple head tattoos. The 505, the Zia symbol with the B in it, as well, means they're Purqueños. You have different sides of New Mexico. You got the northern side of New Mexico, which is Taos, Espanola. Those are basically the norteños. Then Los Cruces, in that area is the southern boys, or the down south boys. Here is a symbolization with the Zia symbol with the S in it. Those are representations of sindicatos. Those are a known prison gang in New Mexico. Most of them are all validated, and they do a 23-in-1 system. You know, basically 23 hours locked down, 1 out. All these other tattoos right here are Southern California tattoos. We got Guatemala. It's Eagle Warrior, the Sun God, and the other one on the bottom right-hand corner is an equal symbol with the 3 dots. That's Canpul. That means a 13 in Mayan. Those are all representations of tattoos that you have to earn to actually get those. You can't just anybody just can't get them. Basically, you have to put in some kind of work in prison. These are all Southern California tattoos. You got the Sur on it, which was representation for a Southern United Raza. The 13 is we paying homage to the gang. Sureño, pretty self-explanatory, you know. Basically a Southern California, anywhere from Bakersfield down to San Diego was all Southern California, different gangs that we unite together. And last, you got the white boys that are they got their own different gangs also. The 1488, the skinhead, the Nazi symbol, basically is white supremacy. Then also they have the guys that are not like into white supremacy, and that's the Peckerwoods. This last picture is right before I got out. You can see I'm in the middle row, third to the left, in the middle. It's kind of sad because more than half of these guys are never going to ever see the light of day again. You know, they're going to be locked up for life. Maybe 3 of us out of that whole crowd have made it to the streets. That's pretty much it.
Well, stay right here. So this has given me, certainly getting to know you, Ernesto, just a little glimpse of life as a gang member. I think you're hearing him. If you could go back again, would you have chosen this life?
No, I wouldn't have. I think I would have went to school, paid for all my tattoos. Not had to go to prison to get them all.
And not spend 20 years of your life behind bars, right?
Exactly.
So I hope if you're listening today, whether you're in prison, because I know some of you are in prison, there is a way out. If you're going to go into prison, go Christian. I like it. Go Christian. Stay safe. Avoid the gangs. You don't want to do the work. I don't want to know what the work is, because the work is something that someday we're going to have to answer to our work here on this earth. And I know Ernesto is going to do a lot of positive work in your life to help people to avoid following in the footsteps. And so I thank you for being with us today. Of course, I'm going to close with a story here in a second, but again, Ernesto, I thank you so much.
Thank you.
So thank you for being with us, and now I'll close with a story.